I'll make you guys a deal. I'll try the Impossible Whopper if this video gets 100 views. 100 views equals me trying the Impossible Whopper. 200 views, I'll try these new crispy tacos that I'm sure are just fantastic. Not an endorsement for Burger King. It is August 12th. It is Monday. It is 11 a.m. and it is a beautiful day, and I am in front of Barnes & Noble. Why am I in front of Barnes & Noble, you might ask? It's certainly not because I'm buying books. I don't buy books from Barnes & Noble. I'm technically not at Barnes & Noble. I'm just using them as a backdrop because of what I want to talk about. I don't buy books from Barnes & Noble for a couple of reasons, and this is not a Barnes & Noble rant, but as I was mentally preparing on my way over here, I thought I needed to mention a couple things about Barnes & Noble. Number one, they don't price match other companies. I don't understand, like, your one goal with your store is to sell books. Why would you not want to price match other companies? Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Why would you not want to price match other companies? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, just price match. You'll get more business. It's really simple. And then number two, I've actually, when I've had to purchase a book at Barnes & Noble for, like, you know, whatever reason, they've given me a hard time about, like, actually price matching their own website. I've grabbed a book off the shelf and I brought it to the counter, and you know, whenever I go into a store, I always check their website and I always check competitors' websites to see if, you know, if there's like a cheaper deal or if they have a coupon or something like that. And I'll check a price of a book, and when I bring it up to the counter, the price is different than what it says on their website. And I've asked them, like, well, can you price match the website? And they've told me no. They tell me that I have to actually order the book online and then set it up to be picked up at the store. It makes no sense to me. And they're not like a little mom and pop store. You know, they're not like the smaller Meg Ryan store from You've Got Mail. Like, they're the big Tom Hanks store from You've Got Mail. And so, like, I have no incentive to support their company if they're gonna be more expensive. And it's not like they're like 10 cents more. They're more expensive than other places, like by multiple dollars. It just makes no sense to me. And then I read articles about how they're struggling to get business. And it's like, well, no kidding, you're struggling to get business. You have no incentive. For me, as a book lover, I have no incentive to go to Barnes & Noble. None. And I'm not saying just because I have Amazon Prime and I can get a book in a day or two. I mean, there's no literal sense for me to go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book. They're more expensive. I've not really had good experience with their customer service. That's the end of the Barnes & Noble rant. So why am I actually in front of Barnes & Noble on this lovely, what day is today? Monday. Why am I in front of Barnes & Noble? Well, here's what I'm going to talk about today, and I want to get back into this discipline of reading. A lot of people ask me what I'm reading, how much do I read, how do I stay organized. I'm always asking people about that, like, you know, what do your reading habits look like? So I'm using Barnes & Noble as a backdrop because I want to talk about reading today. What I've noticed is over the last 30 days, maybe 45 days or so, my habits have changed a lot. My mindless scrolling on social media has really increased. I read a book a couple of months ago called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and the book really did a good job of helping me create some small little disciplines about using my phone more effectively. I'm not advocating for completely removing social media from your life, and I'm not advocating for turning off all your screens and getting rid of all that stuff, because I think that's just setting yourself up for failure. I don't think that's good. But there was little things that I made changes to. What I've slowly noticed, though, is that I've gotten back into some of those old habits. I see myself always picking up my phone to mindlessly scroll through social media for a little bit if I have a moment. It's just part of my natural instincts. Now listen, I'm the type of guy, like, I know I use my phone a lot. Like, I love my cell phone. I love gadgets, and I love social media, and I love the internet. So when I read a book that tells me I'm using my phone too much, I'm not like shocked, and I'm not like, oh, are you serious? Like, I use my phone too much? Like, I know that I use my phone too much. But what I've seen myself over these last 30 to 45 days especially is some of the good disciplines that I created have slowly started to go away. I was trying to institute some sort of habits in my life where I would not use social media during the daytime hours unless it was for producing content for this platform, reading articles that were that are theological, watching sermons or anything like that. I didn't want to just spend the mindless amounts of hours and hours that I do just scrolling through Facebook, not doing anything productive. I want to get back to that. So what I'm trying to like work through now is how we can all hold each other accountable with stuff like this. I created a Discord channel, and I think that would be a good platform for us to use to hold each other accountable. I don't know what it looks like. I'm not saying like let's take 30 days and let's quit social media. I'm not talking about anything crazy like that. I'm just thinking like, what can we do from small little steps? I was watching I was listening to a podcast, and they talk about like this 2-day rule, like where you don't take 2 days off in a row. Like it's okay if you miss a day, but you make sure you start back up, and you can take as many days off in a month as you need to, but you can't miss 2 days in a row. And so I think if we start something small like that, like listen, like I'm not gonna miss 2 days. Like I'm gonna read every day for 30 minutes, or I'm gonna cut out social media until 6 p.m. or whatever discipline it is that you start with. Try to get to the point to where you don't take 2 days off in a row. I think that would be a good start, because that's what I'm trying to get back into the routine of, is to develop good habits and to develop, just practical things that allow me to read more. I've noticed that I'm not staying as focused when I am reading, or if I'm reading an article, or my mind is just, I'm always just bouncing around because of social media use. So I want to get back to that. So listen, if you are interested in, if you want to join, if you want to work with me on this, leave a comment below and let's chat. I'll create a channel in the Discord server that we can use specifically for this journey. Again, I'm not saying that we need to do like 30 days or 2 weeks or not even a week. I don't want to put like, every time I try to do something like that, it always seems that I'm just working towards that number. So if I say I'm gonna do good for 30 days, it's like day 31 and then I'm done. So I don't want to do that. I want these things to just become natural to my life. Let's chat. Let's figure out a way that we can do this together. We can hold each other accountable. Don't buy books from Barnes & Noble. Seriously, Barnes & Noble, if you're watching, why don't you do these things? It just seems so obvious.